So I just used the microphone button and I dictated the notes. And I would like you to do the research and provide it to teachers who are being trained in an AI training workshop as we seek to raise the best mathematicians and scientists out of Africa where the teachers are located. Specifically starting in Nigeria is where we're doing the training, but then Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ghana, Liberia, and South Africa are being brought into the program. So we researched the question, we put it there. I'm doing a project, and Perplexity, look at what Perplexity does. Look at the sources, right? There's a strong connection between K-12 math education readiness and a country's technological advancement and economic advancement. But the amount of sources, so notice it has 1, 2, 3 right there. And then it has studies focusing on Africa, including Nigeria, reveal math education is pivotal for economic development, closing skills gaps, and so on and so forth. The point I wanted to show us here is what Perplexity can do. It has only used about 7 sources, but then you can say, let's do another research, right? You click on the next question and look at what it will do now. It will say, it will give you more data, more sources. Look at the amount of sources. So we've looked at 10 sources already. So then at the end of this side, right, research from Stanford University further confirms that raising student achievement in math correlates strongly with sustained long-term economic growth. Countries like South Korea, Taiwan, Singapore, and Hong Kong, all with very high math scores, experience faster growth rates in GDP per capita compared to others. This is a very interesting project. And then we can look at it and say, okay, how large is the GDP impact per standard deviation increase in math scores? So notice that Perplexity lets you keep digging deeper, right? A key economic study finds that one standard deviation increase in math test scores is associated with approximately a 1.3 percentage point increase in annual GDP growth. Now you can do the maths and see what that could look like for a nation. Very interesting. Standard deviation increase in K-12 math proficiency links robustly to about 1 to 1.3 percent point increase in GDP. Okay. Show empirical studies estimating growth by GDP. Okay, you can ask it to show you the studies. So we'll stop after this one. But notice it can keep going on and on, right? Look at this study, a widely cited study by this guy. So you could just go there, boom. Now, guess what? If you have LinkedIn, some of these people that did the studies, they will even talk about, like they'll be open to talking to us about their study. Another study analyzed US state data, another one, and so on. So you can see the studies there that explain that. Let me see if there's anything else I want to do with this particular topic. Let me ask one other question. I would say, how can Nigeria become the number one? We can use Perplexity to say, how can Nigeria become number one in math education in the world? Okay, we'll ask Perplexity. Notice that it will explore strategies for Nigeria to excel in maths. We already asked earlier, asking about if there's a connection between GDP and math education. Nigeria can be number one by implementing a multifaceted strategic approach. It has done research. Number one, improve teacher training and professional development. That's funny that I didn't even know this part first there. But that's number one, and we are part of that, we thank God. Number two, create a supportive learning environment. Reducing classroom overcrowding, improving work conditions for teachers, and supply schools with concrete teaching materials. We are more than happy to provide that from Sparkland and Learning Institute for Excellence. Revise curriculum and teaching methods, increase funding and resource allocation, leverage technology and AI tools, establish national math competitions and recognition programs, learn from international best practices like Singapore, South Korea, and Finland, strong policy and governance commitment. So notice that there are ways for us to become number one, right? So then draft a 10-year plan. See how AI can help. Draft a 10-year national plan to overhaul Nigeria's math curriculum to become number one. Establish a national mathematics curriculum reform task force, including educators, curriculum experts, policy. Well, what are we waiting for, right? We can do number one. Conduct comprehensive needs assessment. Review global best practices from top performing nations, which is something we can use AI to do. So maybe that's our homework. Homework is find the best practices from the best countries in maths. Develop clear goals and emphasizing conceptual understanding. Nigeria can be number one. If we are committed, we will be number one in the world. It's a commitment, it's a plan, it's a strategy. And for the out-of-school children, we find sponsors. I did the maths. $6 billion can educate every child in Nigeria that is out of school. So we can fix that problem. Let's build resources and apps that can help millions of students. Okay, so you guys can see I can share this later, but you can also do the research using Perplexity. So let's look at the year 3 and 4, year 5 and 6. You can see all the different elements for becoming the number one nation. I don't think we need to do this in 10 years. I'm going to say, what will it take? I'll say, what will it take? Actually, prioritize interventions. Which grades to target first for math gains? That'll be interesting. Let's see what it says. Especially K5, early years, right? This is because strong foundational math skills like number sense, whole number operations, and basic arithmetic are critical. So that sounds good. And then, of course, middle school can have a different plan, and then high school as well. So strong emphasis on the foundation, focusing on and then 6th to 8th grade, and then everything builds on top of that. But Perplexity keeps giving you more, right? Targeting grades for biggest long-run economic returns. So it can give you the next type of question. Again, interventions targeting foundational math skills in early grades yield the greatest lifetime benefit. So we need to build the best early years program in the world by God's grace. Everything you do now is okay to say, I want to do the best I want to do it as the best in the world or the best that has ever been done. It is possible. Let us believe, not just believe and stop. Let's now act towards it. And I'm here excited to work with educators to see every child around the world flourish in mathematics and also help Nigeria become a leader and Jos specifically become the city for the whole world to see how STEM education can be done. My prayer for Jos, by God's grace, is that the biggest airplanes in the world will fly out of Jos, Nigeria one day because of what the education in Jos is doing to the world and showing them how to teach. This is the beginning of a movement. This is Perplexity. We'll talk more about other things. Thank you again. Have a blessed day.